Hi, this is Lou Ann Worley with Rock and Book Reviews, and today it's my pleasure to introduce international best-selling mystery author Lauren Carr. Lauren Carr is one of my very favorites, and I've enjoyed her books for years, and I'm looking forward to many more. Lauren Carr is an international best-selling author of Mac Faraday, Lovers in Crime, Thorny Rose, Chris Matheson Case Mysteries, and Nikki Bryant Cozy Mysteries. Over 25 titles across 5 fast-paced mystery series filled with twists and turns. Book reviewers and readers alike rave about how Lauren Carr seamlessly crosses genres to include mystery, suspense, crime fiction, police procedurals, and romance and humor. I love the humor. Look for her upcoming new release, Shadow of Murder, the 14th Mac Faraday mystery next month in February, and I'm looking so forward to that, Lauren. Recently, Lauren joined forces with 5 other authors, C.S. McDonald, Carrie Bouvet, and Shelley Blanton Stroud, J.C. Gatlin, and Anita Dickinson, to form a mystery review crew who, through their blog, The Mystery Review Crew, and social media, will introduce mystery, suspense, and thriller lovers to exciting books via guest posts, authored interviews, podcasts, and of course, reviews. They will also offer monthly giveaways. Everyone is invited to Mystery Review Crew's launch party on Facebook on the blog's launch date of January 10th. Everybody get that down. January 10th. Stop in and to meet the Mystery Review Crew and be sure to enter their huge giveaway, which will include numerous prizes, including signed books. The owner of Acorn Book Services, Lauren is also a publishing manager, consultant, and a virtual book tour coordinator for independent authors. So what kind of consulting do you do?
Well, I can be a publishing or writing coach. So, if people, authors, they need help in getting that first book out, I can give them tips. I can do that via Zoom meetings, give them tips or advice. I don't necessarily have time to be a beta reader anymore. I just don't have enough time, but I can read a section of the book and meet with them to discuss what direction they're going, coach them along the line, encourage them, give them tips on time management, and that type of advice. I have found during my career, and I have some writing buddies. And what I have found is that, and what I really missed was that, I didn't realize how valuable this was until my mother passed away. My mother passed away a few years ago, and she wasn't a writer, but she devoured books. She kind of like you, had books everywhere. So, there was not a mystery. As a matter of fact, she told me that once she went to the library, there were like 3 libraries that she frequented. Most people maybe hang out in a bar. She'd hang out at the library. She was the one who introduced me to books. And she once told me that she went down the mystery aisle of the library. I read that one. I read that one. I read that one. That one. Yep, I read that one too. And they would have to import books from other libraries for her. Because but she was a huge mystery fan. That was why I write murder mysteries. She used to really, and it's true, she would read Perry Mason to me at bedtime. And even though she wasn't, yeah, and that was where I got started. And so, it's a clean read, there wasn't, usually, I think most of the time the murders would happen off stage. And so I was reading Nancy Drew. I started out with the Bobbsey twins, went to Nancy Drew, but she was I didn't realize until after her death, she was my writing buddy. And even though she wasn't an author, she was, when I first started writing, she was my beta reader. And this woman was educated in a one-room schoolhouse, and she did not go to college, but she read books and she knew everything about murder mysteries. And she wouldn't know the term, she wouldn't know the technical term, but she would be able to explain it to me, who I college educated. I knew the technical terms, but I knew what they were, like about finding your voice. She wouldn't know, I was in my third book before I actually found my voice, but she wouldn't have known about that. But she was able to communicate to me, this doesn't read like you. It reads like you're trying to write like somebody else. She didn't realize I did not have my voice.
Sounds like Murder, She Wrote.
Yeah, it sounds like Murder, She Wrote. And so, yeah, that's what it sounds like, So it wasn't until my third book where I was like, well, I'm just going to write what I want to write. I don't care, and that was when I found my voice, was whenever I decided I'm going to write what I want to write. And that was It's Murder, My Son. So, but she was the one who I would call whenever I had a plot idea, or maybe I want to change who the killer is, and this is why. And she and I would have these long drawn out conversations about, I don't think, is that a loose end? Or maybe am I making it too complicated? Or, well, like recently I decided with Shadow of Murder, I had to get rid of a character. I had a character, that, well, but I'm already 300 pages into the book, well, do I have to go back and get rid of this character? But, and while my mother passed away a few years ago, I didn't have that to do. So, I didn't have her. So C.S. McDonald, who writes the Fiona Quinn mysteries and the Back to the Berg mysteries, she, and her proper name is Cindy. She was born 1 week after me, and she lived less than 5 minutes from where I grew up. So she has become my writing buddy. She's the one that I contact because her husband doesn't want to listen to her. My husband doesn't want to listen to me. My husband has not read any of my books, and that's okay with me because he's a nonfiction guy. And so is my son. My son is a nonfiction guy.
So is my husband.
Yeah.
They would get along great.
Yeah, they get along great. So, but when my mother passed away, it wasn't until that I lost that person to bounce off basically what it is a writing buddy. It's a writing buddy that you need to have, and I think every author needs to have that. Somebody who, because Cindy's a mystery writer, and the way she and I contacted each other, there's a state line between us. And now she lives like 5 hours away from me because I live in Harpers Ferry, West Virginia. I'm on the other side of the state, but we were born in the same hospital, 1 week.
Oh, that is so crazy.
Grew up 5 minutes from each other, but there was a state line between us. So she went to a different school. I went to a different school. And she read an article about me in the local paper, like when my third or fourth book came out, and she contacted me, and because she was starting on her mystery writing. She decided at 50 to retire from teaching dance and writing murder mysteries. And she contacted me, and this good friendship and author relationship that she actually filled that void when my mother passed away.
That's wonderful.
That we were,
and that's coincidences. I think our life has a plan, and I don't believe in just coincidental things.
Yeah, and I believe that too. I mean, that's the way my life has turned out. I was in my 50s. I always worked in writing. Whenever I start, graduated from college, I was working at the publishing, doing government publications. I wasn't doing Perry Mason books. I was doing manuals and really boring stuff. And a lot of it was classified, but it was like, but they were, but it gave me the foundation that I needed. And I was well into my 50s, and I had I had, Acorn Book Services up and running, and I was a best-selling author before one day I realized how every dead end job, everything, every job that I hated, every awful experience that I had basically molded me because I was using it all now. It all came together to make me the success that I am today.
Well, I'm glad that happened because I've enjoyed your books so tremendously.
Oh, well, thank you. Thank you so much.
Okay. We talked about your husband, and you have 2 spoiled rotten dogs, right?
Spoiled rotten German Shepherds, and they're both in my books. They are both in my books. Sterling, now Gnarly, Gnarly sadly passed away. Gnarly, who's in the Mac Faraday mysteries.
He is hilarious. He is a highlight of your books.
And he's still the mayor in Shadow of Murder. He's still the mayor. The Nutcracker Conspiracy, he's moving in with the Thorny Rose characters because he has to lay low for about a year because he had a sex scandal. So they have to wait for that to blow over.
It's so funny too. It just about cracked me up. I love your books. They're so fun.
Oh, thank you.
How did you bring this mystery review crew together? What inspired it?
What inspired it was just circumstances. One of my bloggers I work with a lot of bloggers with I Read Book Tours. During the pandemic, some of the bloggers, some of them, they just decided they didn't want to blog anymore. And there was a blog that was quite popular, and it was a mystery blog. And I had been on it quite a few times. She reviewed quite a few of my books. Well, the blogger contacted me. She wasn't going to review anymore, simply because her heart wasn't in it anymore. And I thought, well, it's a great blog. It's a really great blog. Why give it up? And then I thought, well, maybe I could take it over. But of course, I don't have time to do that. I don't have time to do a blog.
That's what I was thinking.
So, and I actually really don't have time to review books either. And I can get into what we're doing with the mystery review crew as far as blogs, how we're going to handle that. So I started thinking about it, and I thought, well, maybe we could keep the blog going. And so I reached out to various mystery authors that I knew that maybe we could put together a co-op to manage this blog, with the idea being cross promotion. So I just don't promote myself on this blog. I promote these other authors. But we're not just going to have this blog is not going to be just us 5 authors. Well, actually, there's 6 of us. And we spent 9-10 months getting this together. We couldn't use the blog that was already existing. So we couldn't do that. And we actually, and we're all working authors, as in I reads, and I have a podcast I'm trying to put together, authors on I have authors on iTours. So we hired a manager who's going to actually manage the blog, and she's going to do the uploading. And then, because it's called the Mystery Review Crew, one day I asked during one of our Zoom meetings I said, okay, I want everybody to be honest. Do you have time to read other authors' books to review them? And it was, no, we don't. No, we don't. But, that is to draw people in to find out reviews. So to, get reviews on books. And another thing that, because we're authors, I'm not going to give Cindy a bad review, because we're friends, but we need to be honest. And so, not that Cindy would get a bad review. I love her books. I read everything.
Yeah, she's very talented.
Yeah. So what we decided to do was we reached out through my I Read Book Tours. I reached out to bloggers like yourself, who they review mystery books, they're mystery books that fall under the mystery, suspense, and thriller genres. That is our, that's our boundary. And so we reached out to reviewers, people who actually already do review books, to be reviewers as part of the crew. So we have about I think we have 6 bloggers who actually review books, who are going to do the reviews. And, but if one of us wants to do a review, one of the crew, like me, I'll have a review for a book that will be coming out next month. And we're not just going to only review the mystery, us 6 authors. It's not just going to be reviews for our books, but reviews for other books that we select. And like I think you're going to have a few reviews that are going to be coming up for books that fall into that genre. So they're going to be providing the reviews for us. And we are going to have a podcast, and we're going to do a monthly giveaway. We're going to have podcasts like Cindy and I have an Authors Off the Cuff, where we talk about writing mysteries. That's a podcast that we're going to have. And author interviews. We're going to launch on January 10th, and 2 of the authors, and that's Cindy and Carrie Bouvet. So C.S. McDonald and Carrie Bouvet, they both are starting book tours on that date. So it's going to be January 10th, Monday. It's going to be a big day. That's when our blog's going to go live.
Sounds exciting. And I don't think there's one of your books that I have not read. And if there is, I need to read it.
Yeah, and read Shadow of Murder. Shadow of Murder is the 14th Mac Faraday mystery.
I'm excited to read it.
Yeah, and I had recently re-released, I'm going through because I started that, I think that book came out in 2010. It's Murder My Son, the first Mac Faraday mystery. It's Murder My Son. And Mac's come a long way since then. And, in over 10 years, I've had different covers. So I decided this year, that's my New Year's resolution. This year, I'm going to take each one of the Mac Faraday mysteries, and I'm going to be re-releasing it to a wider distribution with new covers. So they all have a uniform look to them. And so in doing that, I went back to It's Murder My Son, and Mac has come a long way since it, because remember in It's Murder My Son, he was the worst dressed guy at the Spencer Inn. So now he's very chic and mod. And Shadow of Murder actually takes place a year after the last time we see Mac and Archie. The last time readers saw Mac and Archie is his wife. Whenever Archie Monday, and she's an editor, and they were leaving to go to Europe because she was working with editing with a member of the royal family who wanted to take up mystery writing. And so now this is a year later. This book takes place a year later. Remember in It's Murder My Son, Mac's half-brother, David O'Callahan, he was kind of a ladies' man, and he's gone through quite a few women. Well, in this book, he is a new father in Shadow of Murder. He's married, he's settled, so he is actually on paternity leave with his wife and son. Whenever this book, so he's come a long way, and I introduced some new characters in this book, in Shadow of Murder. We meet some new people.
I love the way you build a family within the books.
But family is very important, and I think I even use that as a theme in one of my books, where it says that the family is the nucleus. Without your family, you have nothing. I try to explore that without beating people on the head with it. I try not to get basically I show them that. I don't tell them that.
I try gently bring it in through each book, and but it makes the point. You make a point very strongly. So
yeah. In Shadow of Murder, I introduce some new characters, and one is Dusty O'Mara, and he is the new deputy chief of police in Spencer. and he's taking over while David is gone on paternity leave. And he is a widower with a 10-year-old daughter. And he has moved to Spencer all the way from Montana. And I actually have him kind of explain, and with him comes his father-in-law, who is Gramps. And his father-in-law, you learn rather early on that he does not get along with his father-in-law. And, you know, his wife has passed away, and he was hoping, and his father-in-law is not destitute or anything. He's financially, he's able to take care of himself, but he's got no one. And that's actually, and Dusty is asked, you know, Dusty, you know, brings this father-in-law who he fusses and argues with throughout the whole book. And somebody asks him, well, why did you bring him with you? Because he had the opportunity to not bring him along with him. And he says, because I'm all he's got, you know, and that really shows the depth of this character, that, you know, this is a man who's got compassion. He knows that, you know, I'm all he's got. You know, him and his granddaughter, him and his daughter, you know, Gramps' granddaughter, you know, and she wanted to bring him along. So he brings this crotchety, grouchy old man halfway
And
across.
I feel a new series coming on.
Oh.
You are always a delight to speak with, and you just amaze me. All you do.
Oh, well, thank you.
For those who don't know, you're also involved in church and community as well as everything else. So it just amazes me how you do. And I'm relieved to find out that you hired a manager, so that you're not taking all on yourself.
Oh, well, you know, I try to do it, and then I'm like, okay, I gotta hire someone to do that, you know. And my husband manages the financial side of iReads and Acorn Book Services, so we need each other. He, you know, without me, he'd starve to death. So you know, and we all help each other. Yeah,
That's what life is. You know, if we don't have each other, we don't have anything.
yeah, that's true. That's absolutely true.
So I think it's, to me, and way I was raised, it doesn't matter your religion, your color, whatever. We're all one huge family here on earth.
Mm-hmm.
And so we're all brothers and sisters. That's the way I've always been taught, and that's the way I view life. And
that's the way you teach your kids.
I don't know strangers. I go up and hug everybody. Whoa, you know?
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm just delighted to have you again, and I'm so excited for your new mystery review crew. And you have a giveaway for us, right?
Yes, a $25 PayPal gift card. You know, it could either be PayPal or an Amazon gift card. You know, the winner's choice, $25.
Super, that'll be great. And
yeah, how are they going to enter?
They are going to enter with the Rafflecopter on rockandbookreviews.com.
Okay. All right. Yes. So go over to the Rafflecopter and $25 Amazon or PayPal gift card, you know, the reader's choice. I always push the PayPal gift card because you can use that anywhere. You know,
Absolutely.
so yeah.
And I'm sure whoever wins will be really happy. Anyway, is there any final comments before we sign off?
Be sure, I don't know the total details about it's going to be a Facebook launch party on January 10th. You know, and I'm going to be sending out a newsletter this week that will have the details for that, and we'll have the details about Shadow of Murder and the upcoming books that are coming. I'm planning to come out this year. So go over to mysterylady.net. That's my website. And subscribe to my newsletter, and you'll get my newsletter at the end of the week that will give you all the details for and Mystery Review Crew. We already have a Facebook page. We don't have any posts yet. That's going to go live on the same day as our blog. So, but get the details for the Facebook party that we're going to have. And we're going to have a big giveaway on that one too.
And I will be posting the links to these things on YouTube, and my blog site.
Yes, and you're going to be you're one of the reviewers. You're part of the crew.
Absolutely, and I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah. Okay.
Like you said earlier about reading other people's books, when I do reviews, I don't check anybody else's reviews because I don't want to be swayed.
I have trouble reading other, because I found as a publisher and a publishing consultant that I read books differently than I used to. I used to read simply for pleasure, but whenever, I'm looking for character development and all these little I can't just sit back and enjoy the book anymore. And that's one of the reasons why I have, and also one of the things that we, the authors on the crew, we think that knowing that we're authors and that we're all part of the crew, that, if we give each other glowing reviews, is it going to have much credibility? Well, they're friends. She's not going to say something bad about Carrie Bouvet's book. Every now and then something will entice me and that maybe I might read it. I do a lot of audiobooks now. Is what I do now, just because I am so busy. I listen to audiobooks while I'm doing the dishes.
I used to I used to think, why do people do that? But then, like you said, I found through the years, I've had problems with my eyes, allergies and infections and stuff. And when I can't see to read, I can listen. So I love audiobooks in the future. I really do.
I think that they really are growing. As a matter of fact, during the last year, my husband says that he sees my audiobook sales increasing every month.
Well, I have grandchildren that will not read a book anymore. They only if they can't listen to it, and a son-in-law. So I see it coming, increasing all the time. So
I think audiobooks are where Kindles were about 5-6 years ago. They're going to be, that, and that's what I keep, telling authors who come through I Read book tours, maybe you might want to think about getting your book out in audiobook. Yeah.
Well, people who've been asking me lately to review books. I said, if you have an audiobook, I can get to it quicker than I can a print book. And so, because like you say, you can listen to it when you're doing other things. And so you just have time.
Well, Shadow Murder is going to be my biggest book. I mean, as far as length, so it's going to be interesting to see how long that is going to be in an audiobook. And I had it read by my pastor. She says she's read every single one of my books, and she said this is the best one she's read.
I can't imagine them being better.
Oh, thank you, Luann.
Okay, and we'll be signing off now, and we hope that you'll search the universe through books.
Okay, thank you. Bye.